What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I hope you had a good Christmas or holiday, whatever you happen to celebrate. And now that 2024 is officially almost over, I think it's time to look back on the year for Switch games. And this tier list will be basically my Game of the Year list. I will be going through all of these games and talking about them. Now, keep in mind, this is my opinion. I know a lot of Sony fanboys that automatically dislike every video I make are going to attack me and say, oh, this is not Game of the Year, this is not Game of the Year. Okay, this is my opinion, and we're only talking about Switch games. I've played Xbox games, I've played PC games. This is not for that. This is for the Switch, hence the name Nintendo Up. So use your brain a little bit and understand that I'm not rating every single game that's ever released. So now that that disclaimer is out of the way, let's get started. So first up, we have Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. This is a game that I was never really a fan of on the 3DS. The graphics weren't really that impressive to me. I know they were on a handheld. There's just something about them rubbed me the wrong way. It didn't feel like a proper visual sequel to Luigi's Mansion. The gameplay was more or less the same, but not quite as good as the original. The music was actually kind of annoying in the original game, and also this version too is the same music, just updated. But I gotta say, the visuals in this HD port are a lot more pleasing to the eye on a 1080p television with all of the HD enhancements. And so I don't really have a problem so much with the visuals. I also have to say, just relaxing in bed and playing this on a big screen, I really do appreciate the game more for whatever reason. And I actually really enjoyed this game, giving it a second chance. When I didn't really like the second game that much on the 3DS, but now that I've given it another chance, I actually think it's probably going to go in the S tier. At least the A tier, but I'll put it in S for now. I can rearrange these later. So next up, we have Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. I didn't really like this game. I gave this a review on my YouTube Shorts. I actually think I gave it a 6, if I remember correctly. I mean, it was not a very good game, I'll be honest with you. It was fun, but it didn't have enough content. This game doesn't have enough content. You can finish this game in like 2 hours, and like I finished this game in my mind. Like, I didn't finish every challenge, but I played for like 2 hours, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I don't really care to play this game again. I don't know. It's okay. It's a 6, it's a 7, whatever you want to say, but it's going in the C tier. It's not very good at all. Princess Peach Showtime. I've actually forgotten about this game. I forgot about this game. I forgot it exists. Look, it's not bad. I think I gave it an 8 out of 10 in my YouTube Shorts review. It's not bad. I like it. It's fun. Good Feel developed this game. Good Feel is one of my favorite Nintendo developers. They created Kirby's Epic Yarn, Yoshi's Woolly World, Yoshi's Crafted World. I'll be honest, this is their least good. This is their worst game, I should say. Kirby's Epic Yarn is probably their best. Actually, they also made Wario Land for the Wii. Wario Land Shake It. I think that's probably one of their best games. But Princess Peach Showtime is a very good game. It's just probably the worst Good Feel game. I don't know. I think it's a solid B. There could be an A. I'll put it in A for now, but I could move it back to B if I want. Alright, so let's look at Echoes of Wisdom. Okay. I played this game. I like it. I gave it an 8 out of 10, I think. I didn't actually review this game, but in my mind, I give it an 8 out of 10. It's a Zelda game without Link. And so, if you want to play as Link, you kind of can. You can, a little bit, but not really. I'll make it no secret, I'm not really a fan of Zelda recently. I love Ocarina of Time. It's my favorite game ever. I love Majora's Mask. I love Wind Waker. I love Twilight Princess. I love Skyward Sword. I love every Zelda game except recently. A Link Between Worlds was great. I don't know, every Switch Zelda game, except for the Skyward Sword remake, has been kind of disappointing. I liked Breath of the Wild when it came out. In 2017, I was like, wow, this is a masterpiece. And I kind of still like Breath of the Wild, but Tears of the Kingdom really just made me so tired of what Zelda has become. It's just not what I like anymore. If Nintendo said, we're not going to make another Breath of the Wild, we're only going to make an Ocarina of Time sequel or something like that, I would be like, yes, that's what I want. I want a 3D Zelda game in the style of Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker. That's the Zelda I love. This isn't really... I mean, this is a 2D Zelda, but kind of. And it has its own twist, its own unique gameplay. You basically copy furniture, copy items in the world, and use them to your own devices in the game. And I don't know, it's kind of like Tears of the Kingdom in that you're doing some creative stuff. Like, Tears of the Kingdom was basically, copying Minecraft. This is not so bad, but it's similar to that. I like the music, the graphics are really good. It has a little bit of performance issues. I'm going to put it in the A tier. Oh my god, I'm going to say I don't like it as much as Princess Peach Showtime. That's crazy. That's really crazy, because I'm a huge Zelda fan, and this wasn't even that great of a game. It was good, but it wasn't amazing. So, it's crazy to me that as a Zelda fan that Ocarina of Time is my favorite game of all time, that this is worse than Princess Peach Showtime to me. Not to say that Princess Peach Showtime is technically better, but just in terms of how much fun I had, I probably had more fun with Princess Peach than I had with Zelda, and that's crazy. But anyway, moving on. So here's a game I actually really did like, and I don't have any problem saying it. Mario and Luigi Brothership. This is a game that got 5 out of 10 by IGN. And I made a video about that. It's my most successful video. Almost 50,000 people watched it. And so 50,000 people at least agreed with me that IGN lost their minds. This is not a 5 out of 10 game, okay? I would give this an 8.5. I really would. I think I would give this game an 8.5 out of 10. It's probably my favorite Mario and Luigi game. I don't know. It could be up there. I like Bowser's Inside Story. I like the GBA games. But this is certainly better than every 3DS Mario and Luigi game. The 3DS Mario and Luigi games were hit and miss, except for the remakes. Like the DS remakes were really good. But they were just the DS games, essentially, with some upgrades. But yeah, I would say this is better than every 3DS Mario and Luigi game. Maybe not better than the GBA games, but I think it could be. It definitely could be. I love the graphics. I love the music. I love the gameplay. The story is pretty good. Honestly, I'm playing the game in Japanese, so I might be missing some of the humor and some of the things because I'm still learning Japanese. But I really like it. But I'll just say I'll put this in S tier. Is it better than Luigi's Mansion? Yeah, probably. And also it's more original than a remake or a port, so I'm going to give it higher priority than Luigi's Mansion, which is just a port. It's just a port of a old game. Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble? I think this is exclusive to Nintendo Switch. I don't think you can play this on any other system, so that's something. I like this game. It's not as good as the GameCube games, Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2 on the GameCube, but nothing will be that good, I think. The original developers are not working on it anymore. I think the original developers of Super Monkey Ball actually worked on F-Zero GX. I could be wrong on that, but I think they worked on F-Zero GX. They were really talented. I don't know what they're doing now. But yeah, this was a good game. It's certainly the best Monkey Ball game on Switch, and probably the best Monkey Ball game since the GameCube games. But it's just not as good as the GameCube games. But I will still give it an A, below Princess Peach. Yeah, I'll put it below Zelda. Yeah, I can't put this above Zelda. This is not as good as Zelda. So, Tetris Forever. This is essentially just a collection of old Tetris games. It was okay. I'm not a huge fan of Tetris. So, if you're a huge fan of Tetris, this might be an S tier or an A tier. For me, it's fine. It's a B. It's nothing unique. It's just a port of a bunch of old games. But, there's lots of cool bonus content, lots of cool filters, save states. Next is Sonic X Shadow Generations. Now, I've already reviewed this. It's one of my favorite games of the year. Shadow's campaign steals the show. It is by far the best part of the game. But also it's really cool because for Nintendo fans, this is the first chance we've ever had to play Sonic Generations. Now, I played Sonic Generations 10 years ago or something on my PlayStation 3. I know a lot of you are shocked to hear that, but yeah, I actually owned a PlayStation 3, and I had hundreds of games for it. And I also owned a PlayStation 4, and had hundreds of games for my PlayStation 4. So I'm not like a blind Sony hater. I've played so many games on PS4 and PS3, including Grand Theft Auto and a bunch of other games. So I played this a long time ago, but I'm glad for Nintendo fans that don't have a Sony platform and don't have a Microsoft platform to finally be able to play this game. And the Shadow campaign was really good, really fun. Obviously, it's an S tier. I don't think it's... Is it better than Mario and Luigi Brothership? Probably not, but it's close. It could be. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Maybe it's better. Another code, Recollection. So this came out in January, so I'm sure most of you forgot this game even existed. Now, I'll be honest, I'm playing this game in Japanese to learn Japanese, and for that purpose, this game is amazing. It's probably the best game ever for learning Japanese, or at least one of the best games ever, because it uses pretty easy Japanese, and the story is interesting, the graphics are pleasant. Everything about the game in terms of presentation is really pleasant. This game is a collection of 2 Nintendo DS games that are basically a mystery. You know, you walk around trying to solve a mystery by talking to people, looking for clues. So if you're into that type of game, I really recommend it, but I'm a little bit biased because I'm using it to learn another language. So this game is more useful to me than it probably is to you, but it's still a really pleasant game and I really enjoy it. So I'm going to put this probably in A tier, above Monkey Ball, maybe. And we'll move on to Emio, the Smiling Man. So this is a game I'm going to say right off the bat I didn't play yet, but I played a different game in this series. And that was the first Famicom Detective Club remake. And that was a really great game. I played it entirely in Japanese. Great for learning the language. And the music, the atmosphere, everything was great. The story was good with the first game in the series. And I don't imagine that this game would be any worse. In fact, people are saying that this game is the best in the series, and it's certainly the most mature in the series. It actually has a mature rating, whereas the other games, I believe they have a T rating, a teen rating. This has a mature rating. There was a lot of excitement around this game, around the announcement of this game, but I really doubt most people bought it. I don't think it's sold very well, but it's well worth a play based on my experience with the first game in the series. And I will definitely be playing this eventually when I have time. But I will be playing it in Japanese. I will not be playing it in English. So Super Mario Party Jamboree. I love this game. This is a return to form for the Mario Party franchise. It's the first good Mario Party game, not including Superstars, which was sort of a remake of older Mario Party games. But it's the first really good Mario Party game since probably Mario Party 6, maybe 7. It's really good. Now, I like Super Mario Party. I like the original Super Mario Party, but this is much, much better. So I'm going to put this probably below Brothership, but around that, because I really liked it. It's a return to form for the Mario Party franchise. Moving on, this is Freedom Planet 2. This is another game I didn't play yet. I played the original Freedom Planet. I loved it. It's basically a Sonic game, but with different characters. And if you're into that, I highly recommend it. I haven't had a chance to play the sequel yet. I will eventually. I predict it would probably be an A or an S tier. But yeah, I recommend it. Next one is Braid Anniversary Edition. I'm going to put that right around the C tier. I played this game on the Xbox 360 a number of years ago. The Anniversary Edition, I played a little bit. Didn't really change that much, but, changed a little bit. I don't really like the game. I mean, it's not for me. It's a good game, but it's just not for me. That's all I'm going to say about it, because it's just not for me. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, that's going right up to S tier. This is probably the best game on this list so far. It is an incredible remake of an incredible game. It's obviously better than Brothership. Brothership is great. It can't hold a candle to The Thousand Year Door. The Thousand Year Door is the best Paper Mario game ever made. It's probably the best Mario RPG game ever made. And thank Miyamoto, or whoever came up with the idea, to remake the game for the Switch. Everyone seems to have forgotten this game even exists, but oh my god, you gotta get on it. You gotta play this game. It's so good. It's the best Mario RPG game probably ever made, and it's definitely worthy of the top spot so far. And let's move on to Fantasian Neo Dimension. Now, I played this game on Apple Arcade. The Switch version is basically the same, it just adds some things. I liked this game. I'm gonna put it in, yeah, maybe here. I'll put it in the A tier right here. This is from the creator of Final Fantasy, so if you like Final Fantasy, you might like this game. It does some unique things in the gameplay, for sure, but at its heart, it's basically just a traditional RPG with a pretty good story, pretty good characters. I played it on my iPad, and I don't know, for a mobile game it's really good, but for a Switch game, when you have access to Dragon Quest XI, all the Final Fantasy games, and you know, so many RPG games on Switch, I'm sorry, but this isn't as good as the big RPG games on Switch. It's pretty good. I recommend it if you have nothing else to play in terms of RPGs. But if you do have a lot to play, I would recommend staying with the big games like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest. So let's move on. Now we have World of Goo 2. When this game first came out, I had a lot of problems with the controls. But since then, they did update the controls, and it's working pretty well. Not perfect, but pretty well. I loved the original World of Goo, and this is basically more of the same. A little bit better, I would say. And it's a perfect game to relax. Like, if you have time to relax, unfortunately, I don't really have time to relax anymore. But if you have time to sit back and relax, you know, on your bed or your couch, it's really fun. It's really a great game to relax and unwind. And I don't typically like puzzle games. They're just not for me, but World of Goo 2 is actually one of the few puzzle games that I actually really like. So I'm going to put it, I think it's better than the Tetris collection. I'm going to put it above Monkey Ball, around here. I really like World of Goo. The next game is a great game, and actually it's developed by one of the developers on this list that's already on this tier list. And I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to take a minute, or not a minute, but a second, to think about what developer on this list made Bakeru, or Bakeru. What developer on this list made Bakeru? So it's actually in the A tier, and it's Princess Peach Showtime. So the same developers of Princess Peach Showtime made Bakeru. So this is a really funny situation where I actually get to determine if this game is better than Princess Peach Showtime, which the same developer made. And I'm going to say, reluctantly, I think it's a little better, maybe, than Princess Peach Showtime. They're very close in quality. Very close. But I think Bakeru is a little bit better. I played this on my Steam Deck. It's on Switch, but it's also available on the Steam Deck and on Steam. And I really loved it. It's great. The graphics are great. Sound is great. It's a really cool beat-em-up game where you go around different prefectures in Japan and you collect souvenirs called omiyage in Japan. And you collect all these different things, go through and traverse different areas. But basically at its heart, it's just a beat-em-up. But it's a really fun beat-em-up. And it reminds me, and this is the greatest compliment I can give this game. It's the greatest compliment I can give it. It reminds me of an old 3D GameCube game. It really does. It reminds me of a GameCube game, or even perhaps a Wii game, because GameCube and Wii were, pretty much the same. Let's just be honest, the GameCube and the Wii were almost the same. That's the biggest compliment I can give it. I love GameCube, I love Wii. This reminds me of a GameCube or Wii game. So if you like old 3D beat-em-ups, old 3D platformers or action games on the GameCube, this is great. This is a great game. I actually might put it in the S tier. Yeah, why not? I'll put it in the S tier. Castlevania, I think this is called Dominus Collection. But basically this is the DS Castlevania games brought to the Switch, where you can play it on your big screen TV. There's save states, there's some extras, but if you've played these games on the DS, you've already played this collection for the most part. I like it. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest Castlevania fan, but I liked it. Let me see, where should I put this on the list? Where should I put it? I really don't know. It's better than Fantasian, probably better than Monkey Ball, maybe better than World of Goo. Sure, I'll put it here. I'll put it right below Echoes of Wisdom. They're great games. So, but I'm not really a huge fan of Castlevania. They're a little bit, I don't know. I just don't like them that much. Actually, I'll be honest, my favorite part of this collection was the remake, the sequel to Castlevania The Adventure Rebirth. That was a WiiWare game that I reviewed like 13 years ago. It's a sequel to The Adventure Rebirth. It has that as an extra. And that's what I loved about this game. I loved that more than the DS games, because I loved The Adventure Rebirth. It was my type of Castlevania. Not too hard, perfect difficulty for me. I loved it. So get this game if you want to play the sequel to Castlevania The Adventure Rebirth. So actually, now that I know that, now that I remember that, it might be better than Zelda. I don't know. But I'll leave it here for now. So Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I wanted to really like this game, but as I said before, I'm not really a fan of puzzle games. And I mean, this is a fine game, but this is a Game Boy Advance game, and it definitely shows. It is a Game Boy Advance game remade for the Switch. I don't know why, frankly, they decided to remake a random Game Boy Advance game. I mean, go ahead, Nintendo, remake every Game Boy Advance game. I would be fine with that. Go ahead, remake every single Game Boy Advance game that ever came out. I would love that. For me, it's better than Tetris. I mean, it's more fun than Tetris. Yeah. I'll put it here in the B tier. I don't know what I would give this. Maybe a 7.5 out of 10. All right, let's move on to Endless Ocean Luminous. This is the long-awaited sequel to Endless Ocean Blue World for the Wii. I never really played Endless Ocean on the Wii, but it always seemed like a game I would love. Then I played Endless Ocean Luminous, and I was like, meh. It's okay. It's actually quite relaxing to sit back and relax and just look at fish. But you know what else is also relaxing? Anything else. I mean, watching The Simpsons, watching literally a real aquarium or a video of an aquarium is just as relaxing as this game, in my opinion. So it's a relaxing game, but it's not for me that much. I played it, but after I played it, I never wanted to go back. I'm just too busy, and I just don't care. This is a C game. I don't think it's bad, but it's just not for me. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. So I know a lot of people loved this announcement of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 coming back, and I played it. It was fun. I don't really like Marvel. I'll be honest, I don't like Marvel that much. It's not a property that I care about anymore. But I like fighting games, and I'm happy for everybody that finally got this game. Is it something that I play on a regular basis? No. Is it something that I want to go back and play even more? Yes. I would say this is a B for me. Maybe an A. Definitely better than Mario vs. Donkey Kong. This is just my opinion, by the way. I know a lot of people love this game. Not saying you're wrong. You could be right. But yeah, I'll give it an A tier below Fantasian. It was a great collection. Just, I'm not a huge Marvel fan, and I'm not, I don't know. I have to go back and play it some more. But it's not Game of the Year for me. It's not going to be Game of the Year. Hatch Tales. So this is another game I didn't play yet, but I'll put this on the top of I didn't play it yet because I really want to get to playing this as soon as possible. This game was announced almost 6-7 years ago on Kickstarter, and it finally released this year to zero fanfare and zero attention. I don't know anybody talking about this game. I don't know anybody playing this game. And frankly, I forgot the game even existed until I made this list. But now that I know it exists, I actually really want to play it because I loved Chicken Wiggle on the 3DS. And this is basically an enhanced sequel or sequel/remake of Chicken Wiggle. So I will go back and I will play this game at some point. I'll maybe make a video about it because I really like Chicken Wiggle, but unfortunately this game was in development hell for so many years. Everybody hates the developer now. I don't hate him, but I know a lot of people do because he took forever to release this game and people thought he stole the money. But look, the game came out. It's finally out. You can calm down. And apparently it's a very good game, but I need to go and play it for myself. But I recommend checking it out if you are interested in making your own levels or playing people's levels. This is kind of like Super Mario Maker, but obviously not as good as Super Mario Maker, but it's still pretty fun. Shin-chan, Shiro, and the Coal Town. So I haven't played it yet, but I played the prior game in the series. Me and the Professor, something like that. I forget the name. It was a really stupid name. But this is another chill game where you can go around just on a summer vacation, talking to people, collecting bugs like in Animal Crossing. It's not hard. It's not challenging. It's just a relaxing game. And I play it in Japanese because it's very good for learning Japanese. If you don't care about learning Japanese, I don't know how fun this game is, but it's pretty cool. And you can play it in English, so you don't have to play it in Japanese. Shin Megami Tensei Vengeance. I played the original Shin Megami Tensei 5. I didn't play this remake yet. It's not a remake. I shouldn't say that. I didn't play this enhanced update that people need to pay for this update. I didn't pay for it yet. And I don't expect I will ever get around to it for quite a while because this is like a 100 or 200 hour game. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'll be brutally honest. If I want to play this game, I will just play Persona or Refantasio because those are more interesting to me than Shin Megami Tensei. Shin Megami Tensei is fun, but Persona exists, Refantasio exists, Metaphor Refantasio exists, and even Tokyo Mirage Sessions is more fun to me than Shin Megami Tensei. I think I love Atlas, I love the Persona franchise and all the spin-offs and everything. But if I have time to play this, I'm going to play Persona 5. I'm going to play Persona 6 when it comes out. I'm going to play Persona 3 Reload. By the way, Persona 3 Reload is probably one of the best games ever made. I hate the Answer DLC that came out because it's so boring. It's just endless dungeons. And that's it, but whatever. This is a Nintendo channel. I can't talk about a PlayStation or an Xbox game, but I played it on Xbox Game Pass. Persona 3 Reload is really good. But yeah, this game, because it's on Switch owners have access to Persona 5. I would recommend Persona 5. And if you've already beaten Persona 5, I would recommend this game. It's not as good, in my opinion, but it's still very good. And I haven't beaten this game, so I can't give you a full review, but that's just my brief opinion about it. Next up is Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. I'll just be honest, I didn't like it. I mean, I only played it for a little bit, but I couldn't get into the battle system. It's a little bit too archaic for me. I love Dragon Quest XI. I don't know, I'm just not in the mood. I'm just not in the mood for this. Obviously, it's better than Tetris and Mario versus Donkey Kong. I'll put it at the bottom of A tier. I know this is a great game, but I'm just not in the mood for it. And this is my opinion. This isn't like the be-all, end-all. This is just my opinion. And I don't really care about this game. But I know a lot of people love it. especially everybody in Japan, loves this game. No problem with you loving this game. I just don't care anymore about this game. So I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's fine. I don't hate it. I just am not in the mood for it. So we have Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. This literally just came out, and I don't know. I haven't beaten the game, so I don't want to give it a perfect, or not a perfect, but I don't want to give it a definitive review. But I really like it. I love Super Nintendo inspired beat 'em ups, and this is obviously in the same vein as the Super Nintendo Power Rangers games. I like it. I would say actually it's probably better than Another Code. Next up we have Yakuza Kiwami, and this is the first Yakuza game remade for modern platforms. It's not Yakuza 0. Yakuza 0 is a prequel. I played this on the PlayStation 4, and it was an amazing game. I think Yakuza 0 is better than this game, and I wish that they remade Yakuza 0 first for the Switch. Or not even remake, they just ported it to the Switch. I would prefer they did Yakuza 0 first and brought that to the Switch first, but they didn't do that. So if you've never played Yakuza before, it's a great series. I love it. It's a beat 'em up, but it's like, a lot of people compare it to Grand Theft Auto, but it's nothing like Grand Theft Auto. It has nothing to do with Grand Theft Auto. It's really just walking around a 3D open world, which isn't really that open world. It's kind of closed off. It's kind of linear. But you talk to people, you buy things, and it's basically a representation of Japan, Tokyo or Osaka, whatever the case may be. And you go around and you basically just beat up people. And there's a big story behind it. It's an amazing story. So many side quests, so many things to do, so many mini games, so many arcade games that you can play in this game. It's amazing. There's so much content. Not just for this game, but every game in the Yakuza series. So obviously this is an S tier, but for me, I already played this game a long time ago. So I can't say it's better than games that, I don't know, I guess it's better. I guess it's on the same level of Luigi's Mansion. Yeah, I'd put it on the same level, but for me personally, I enjoyed Luigi's Mansion more. I don't know, I've just played so many Yakuza games. I don't really want to go back and play the first Yakuza game again. But if you've never played it, this is an S tier, and I highly recommend it. Now we have 2 indie games to close off this list. We have Pizza Tower. This is a great sort of Warrior Land inspired game. Really funny, really crazy art style. It just oozes personality. This is a great game. I'm actually starting to lose my voice a little. I've been talking so much. So I want to keep it short. I recommend Pizza Tower. It's a good game. Place it. I guess it's around World of Goo 2. I would actually say I liked World of Goo 2 a little bit more, but it's on the same level. It could be even better, depending on your mood. It's all about your mood. It's all about your opinion. That's basically all it comes down to, your mood and your opinion. Same thing with Penny's Big Breakaway. This was an awesome game I played on my Steam Deck. It's also available on the Switch. It's a 3D platformer, and we don't really get a lot of 3D platformers. It's actually quite unique. You know, a lot of people are going to say, why did you give this game a good score, but you didn't give Astrobot a good score? And it's like, well, first of all, I never reviewed Astrobot. I'm not saying Astrobot is bad. Okay, it's not even on the Switch, so I can't rate it in this list. But Penny's Big Breakaway, I mean, I cannot accuse Penny's Big Breakaway of being a copy of Super Mario Galaxy. It has nothing to do with Super Mario Galaxy. But I can accuse Astrobot of being a copy of Super Mario Galaxy, because it basically is. But I can't accuse that with Penny's Big Breakaway. It's so different. I mean, yes, it's a platformer, but it's so different. There's shades of gray. I would never accuse this game of copying Nintendo, even though technically, sure, they probably did copy Nintendo, but it doesn't feel like a copy. There's just different levels, and I'm getting tired of explaining myself. If you don't understand shades of gray, the world is not black and white. Just because Penny's Big Breakaway also copies Mario doesn't mean it's a blatant ripoff. But Astrobot, there's a lot of things about that that's a little bit too far. When you look at footage side by side, it's like, okay, you know, my bullshit detector's going off a little bit. No matter what I say, everybody's gonna disagree with me about Astrobot, so whatever. Penny's Big Breakaway. That was a big rant about nothing. So I liked it more than Pizza Tower, more than World of Goo, and I'll put it there for now. So here we go. All we have to do is rearrange it and determine the Switch Game of the Year now. So let's start from, well, obviously I didn't play it yet. I can't do anything about these games. These games are not going to be Game of the Year. C tier, I'm pretty satisfied with this. B tier, it's about right. Nothing to change. A tier, everything looks pretty good. We have Princess Peach Showtime. We have Echoes of Wisdom. Honestly, you could rearrange these and it really wouldn't matter. Castlevania Dominus Collection. I mean, yes, if I think about the Adventure Rebirth, the sequel to the Adventure Rebirth, then this deserves all the praise it can get because I really loved that sequel to the Adventure Rebirth. So I'll leave it here. Power Rangers, maybe, I don't know. It could be below. It could belong here. This is about right. I really can't think of anything egregious, anything outrageous. So I think A tier is correct. So now we have to go to the S tier, and this is where one of the games in this list is going to be Switch Game of the Year. So we have to think very carefully about this. And keep in mind, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying that this is the best Switch game of 2024. I'm saying this is my favorite Switch game of 2024. My personal Game of the Year. I'm not saying it's the absolute best. So let me just clarify. It's not going to be Luigi's Mansion 2 because I don't want to give a port of an old 3DS Game of the Year. And it's not going to be Yakuza because I don't want to give a port Game of the Year. So by that same logic, I don't know if I can give Sonic X Shadow Generations Game of the Year because it's half a port in half an original game. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't feel strongly that this is Game of the Year. It's not going to be Bakeru because it's just a fun GameCube style game, but I don't feel strongly that it's the best Game of the Year. So it's between these three games. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, Mario & Luigi Brothership, and Super Mario Party Jamboree. And I'm going to be brutally honest and say this was a horrible year for Nintendo because these three games, one of them is an amazing game, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, but it's a remake. If this was an original Paper Mario game, this would be Game of the Year immediately. This would be immediately Game of the Year. This is a masterpiece. This is one of the best games ever made, but it's a port, it's a remake. And so I have to think about that. The only original games I can think about are Mario & Luigi Brothership and Super Mario Party Jamboree. It would be crazy if I gave a Mario Party Game of the Year. People would be so angry if I gave this Game of the Year. It's never happened. Nobody has ever given a Mario Party Game of the Year. I don't think so. I don't think anybody has ever given Mario Party Game of the Year. Should I give it Game of the Year? Now, if I give Mario & Luigi Brothership Game of the Year, people are going to be like, are you crazy? IGN gave this game 5 out of 10. You're just doing this to spite IGN. You're just doing this because you're a fanboy that hates IGN. And it's like, no, it has nothing to do with it. I think IGN is stupid, but they don't influence my decisions for Game of the Year. Nobody does. So what is Game of the Year? Is it Mario & Luigi Brothership? Is it Super Mario Party Jamboree? Or is it Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door? And again, I'll be honest, if this was not a port or not a remake, this would be Game of the Year. Hands down, the best Switch Game of the Year. So what I'm going to do, kind of cheating a little bit, and I'm going to say that I don't want to give two RPGs Game of the Year. So I'm going to give Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, and I'm going to give Super Mario Party Jamboree Game of the Year, Switch Game of the Year. If we can only assume that something that isn't a remake or a port can win Game of the Year, then Super Mario Party Jamboree is laughably the Switch Game of the Year, which is crazy. But if we can assume that remakes can be Game of the Year, then predictably, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is hands down the best Switch game of the year. There's no question. So it's up to you to decide. If you allow ports and remakes to be Game of the Year, if you personally allow that, then Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door is Game of the Year. But if you only allow original games or original sequels to be Game of the Year, then it's Super Mario Party Jamboree. The decision I have to make is which one should come first. Hell, I'll give it to Paper Mario. I'll give it to Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. And Super Mario Party Jamboree is my backup if people are going to complain and say, you can't give a remake Game of the Year. Okay, if I can't, then Super Mario Party Jamboree is Game of the Year. Followed very closely by Mario and Luigi Brothership. So, this is a long video, and I probably shouldn't waste my time on long videos that nobody watches, but here it is. My opinion on 2024 for Nintendo, for all the Astrobot fans that hate watched this or skipped to the end, my opinion of Nintendo in 2024 is this was not a very good year. Nintendo has off years, and this was one of them. Paper Mario was great. They had a lot of great games. Mario & Luigi Brothership was great. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD was pretty good. We have a list of games here that are very good, but there's nothing really excellent. There's no Game of the Year. There's really no Game of the Year. I can't sit here and tell you that Super Mario Party Jamboree is this amazing 10 out of 10 game, because it's not. But it's the best that Nintendo released this year. I would love to tell you that Echoes of Wisdom is a 10 out of 10 game, but it's not. I'm just sick of this kind of Zelda game. I want Ocarina of Time. I want that kind of game back. I don't know. I don't hate this game. I don't hate any of its fans. I don't think it's woke, but it's not the Zelda I want, personally. And so I can't give it Game of the Year. It's not even close. Literally, Princess Peach Showtime is better than Zelda, in my opinion. Which is crazy, because people are going to say, oh, you only don't like Zelda because it has a girl character. Well, guess what? Princess Peach is a girl character, and it's better than Zelda. And it's the top of the A tier. And this has a girl character. Another Code Recollection has a girl character. Penny's Big Breakaway, I think she's a girl. I don't know what the hell she is, but I guess she's a girl. I mean, come on. There's a lot of female representation here. So no, it has nothing to do with being woke. I just don't like the direction Zelda has gone. Oh, and Emio the Smiling Man. There's plenty of strong female characters that eventually get murdered. No spoilers because I didn't play it, but this series has a lot of characters that eventually die. It wasn't a very good year for Nintendo. I shouldn't ever be considering a Mario Party game for Game of the Year. But it's an amazing Mario Party game. It really is. It is the best Mario Party game since Mario Party 7 or Mario Party 6, and that deserves some praise. But all I have to say to end this video is thank God the Switch 2 is coming out soon. Because I'm sorry, this list of games from Nintendo is just not good enough. There's some great games, but it's just not good enough. So I'm looking forward to Mario Kart 9 next year, probably. I'm looking forward to a 3D Mario game, a 3D Zelda game. I'm looking forward to all these great things coming in 2025 and 2026, and I'm really excited for the future. But yeah, this year's selection for Game of the Year for the Switch wasn't very good. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'm sure you just skipped to the end anyway, but thank you if you watched the entire video. It really helps. Please visit nintendoup.com, our new website. We're making it better every day. In January and beyond, I'm going to be focusing on that website, making it bigger and better. And I'm also going to be focusing on this YouTube channel to make it bigger and better. So thank you all for subscribing and watching. And I hope you have a great holiday season, a great new year, and I hope you had a great Merry Christmas. And see you guys very soon.